period during the school day. And then that evening, we've also discussed the senior awards that start, I think dinner starting at 5, the formal ceremony starts at 6, and will probably go until 8 p.m. Rhino Fest is something that we've had in the past, like way in the past. And I do believe that iFest or International Fest kind of maybe took over from then, but Rhino Fest will actually take place also. I think I have this on 528 as well. I believe that's correct. But anyway, I believe that will be actually prior to the underclassmen awards, and it'll be during an assembly period, and we'll have various different groups that can sell items. And I believe there may also be a talent show going on. Yesterday, I received communication from the Central Division of HISD, who asked if we would host an event with the superintendent that is termed or called Defined Autonomy. I wish I could tell you more about that. I suspect it is something about schools like Carnegie, who previously had been identified as an A or B school. Of course, Carnegie is an A school. But I think the district is looking at elevating Carnegie and other schools that are considered SUS, separate and unique schools, to a different category. And again, this is only my opinion. I'm not exactly sure, but I think some of our district officials have learned that schools like Carnegie, who consistently perform very high with academic performance, there's not a lot of room for growth. So, and again, I could be wrong, but I believe the Defined Autonomy Forum will address some of those issues. Finals for underclassmen will start next Friday, a week from tomorrow. That's May 31st, and we'll continue Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the following week. That's June 3rd, 4th, and 5th. The last day of school for all students is June 5th, and that also coincides with graduation that is 7 p.m. that evening on June 5th. All right, so that's for the major events. I did want to discuss the budget. As of right now, I don't know how the district came up with this formula, but we have an estimated budget of about $4.5 million for next year based on an enrollment of 771 students. Now, we expect to have somewhere from 840 to 850 students. So that would be a surplus for us should we have an overage by the last Friday in October, which is typically considered snapshot for the district. So I anticipate we will have more than 771 by the last Friday in October, and then those funds should be deposited sometime late fall or possibly very early spring. Based on enrollment of 771, our budget should open or should be loaded and open either the first or the second week of July, depending on how the calendar falls, and especially with the 4th of July holiday. The next thing that I want to talk about is, of course, it's the end of May. It's very hot. Unfortunately, every year we experience issues with our HVAC system. When it was installed, 12 plus years ago, it was supposed to be state of the art. And I've said it before, I think we were guinea pigs. HISD no longer installs this Daikin unit. As of today, the district has brought in additional spot coolers into various classrooms. So that should provide us a little bit of relief. Unfortunately, we may have to rely upon those in also, I guess it's mid-August now, especially when students return. I believe it's August 12th, and possibly the first part of September. we recognize that, yes, it is hot. I know in my office, the thermostat was set at 69, but the temperature was reading 77. So I'm kind of suffering along with everybody else. However, we've noticed that dress code is suffering, and some of our students are not abiding by the dress code. We also know that sometimes students are dropped off looking one way, and while they're at school, they're dressed differently. So they may have a quick change on the bus or once they arrive on campus. And I think they're confusing school with the beach. So with that being said, I would like to create a committee and possibly work with them either early summer or maybe late summer. The committee would be comprised of administration, teachers, parents, and yes, students, because I do want some input from them. So please expect more details regarding the committee. And if any of you would want to volunteer to be a part of that, I would highly appreciate that. I don't know if anybody has placed anything in the chat, but I will check there. Or you are certainly welcome to unmute and ask any questions in this format. I do see a question in the chat. What will students who are exempt from one or more final exams do during the final exam period? Oh, great question. And thank you, Ms. Calzada, for mentioning finals earlier. On the school website, you will see the schedule for finals, and especially upcoming from underclassmen grades 9 through 11. Students who have an 85 or higher average for the semester thus far are exempt from a spring final. So please have your students, or you're welcome to communicate with their teachers. I don't happen to know the percentage of students who are going to be exempt, but I imagine the students who are exempt will report to the class and can read a book, participate in some silent independent activities, unless there are so few students in the room taking finals that we can actually move them, compile them to another area. Typically, teachers like to be in the room. They don't like to relinquish their final to staff members or other teachers. They like to oversee that themselves. So I want to place my bets that all of the students that are under that teacher's record will be in the same classroom. Some will have, again, silent independent activities, or maybe study for their next finals or what have you, while the ones that must take a final are also there at the same time.
I did want to mention about Rhino Fest as far as just what's on the school calendar is the 29th, which is, so we've got Memorial Day, Monday, then awards throughout the day on the 28th, Tuesday the 28th, including the senior awards, and then Wednesday the 29th during assembly. And if you want to be in the know, the PTO calendar, you can subscribe to it, and then the school calendar, you can also subscribe to it on our webpage. We have both. And then now we added the HISD, the board calendar. So, you know, if you're like me and you just love to have many calendars, you can subscribe to all of those and just have them all on your phone or whatever. But so whoever, I'm assuming it's Miss Matsu, but I don't know, whoever manages your calendar, Principal Moss, that's what they have.
I appreciate the correction, and I've actually put a correction in our chat. Mr. Garner, who works with Student Council, is the sponsor for that. So he actually has more details, but Ms. Matsu also does assist with updating our school calendar. All right, and I am on the call for the remainder of the meeting. So if you happen to think of any other questions, I am here to assist. Thank you all.
Thank you, Principal Moss. Okay. So I think we're ready for elections. So we had posted as of last month the nominees. And Yasi, do you want to share your screen again?
Should I just, yeah. I'll
Just so
pull
that
up-
people can
Yeah.
see.
Okay, nice.
I know it
Yes.
feels a little performative because we're not running people against one another, but just so y'all know, this actually does take a lot of work. And even though Gari is the person that's running for president, well, she was pushed. She's running because she was pushed.
Sure.
But that all of the folks that are on the ballot are people that not only do they meet the qualifications of the bylaws, but it's because, you know, they were vetted by the nominating committee. And oh, okay. The agenda. Okay. And so hopefully people did get a chance to look at the names, and if you have any questions, this is the time to ask. Does anyone have any questions of any of the nominees or about the process? All right. We don't actually need, I think, a motion to run the election because that's per bylaws. You just need to pray that the thing works. All right. So the motion is, or the vote is to approve the slate of nominees as presented. If you vote yes, you're voting to approve the slate, no, or abstain. Can everyone see the poll? Yeah, okay.
I do not see the poll. I see the list of candidates, but I don't see the poll.
Well, it says a poll has been launched in this meeting. Can we only launch one poll per meeting?
Well, I wonder if it is, there we go. I see it. Sarah, do you see it?
I see it too now.
That's right. My last meeting, I did it.
Yay.
Sorry, Maria, it's not your last meeting. You'll be there for many more and laughing
I was
with us.
just gonna say, I didn't want to burst her bubble, but
Yeah. I think you're celebrating way too soon. You have 2 more years apart. So we still have to get through the junior year together. Believe me, that is the hardest year.
But I don't have to be sober for the other one.
oh.
But you've done an amazing job, Maria, this year. So thank you so much for all you've done.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Definitely.
Back at you, Jennifer.
Not a fraction.
Oh, and I vote yes. All right, well, we're up to 20 plus myself, 21. And we've got a whopping 27, so that's quorum. Congratulations. All right. So that's it. It's done. You're stuck. Okay.
Thank you, Maria. We do have a couple more things towards the end, so you are not off the hook yet. We have a farewell from the past president. So Susan, are you still on?
I am here. Thank you for allowing me what I promise will be just a couple of minutes to bore everybody. So my baby is graduating, 2 weeks from yesterday, and I served as PTO president from 2020 through 2022 and a number of volunteer positions before that, and with kids involved in different activities. And I wanted to be able to say goodbye and thank you for giving me those few minutes. It's been quite a ride, and I've done things at Carnegie that I would never have thought that I would have got up and done, BTO president being chiefly among them. But from the moment when we toured and my son John was looking around with eyes like this round, and I could tell, because I'm his parent, that he thought Carnegie was paradise and would give anything if he could just walk out of his middle school and start the next day, to 2 weeks from tonight, when, God willing, my youngest will get her diploma. Thank you all. We've got a lot of great memories, and I'm really, really appreciative of the opportunities that my kids have had at this school and that I've had, because we keep growing as grown-ups. I sure hope we do. And so farewell, everybody, and thank you.
Well, now you got me all teary.
I
I
know.
know.
We're gonna miss
Thank you, Suzanne. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you, Suzanne, for
And
everything.
to Maria's joke about being sober, every meeting that I ran, I sat here with a cup of herbal tea, and for tonight, I have a little glass of.
I'm using my glass too.
Cheers.
Cheers, cheers, virtual cheers to
Cheers,
Suzanne.
cheers. We'll miss
That's
you. Please
awesome.
come back. Just come back.
Yes.
You can adopt another kid
I'm
and
not
come
going to
back.
change my address or disappear.
If I add to that, if I'm not mistaken, is it 8 full years you've been with us?
It is 8 full years, because Elizabeth won the lottery of her own accord when her brother was a graduating senior.
Wow.
So she did not get a preference.
Well, wonderful. So I know you've served in various different capacities, and especially as PTO president, and you have served with elegance, style, and grace. And I know if you happen to have any extra time on your hands, hopefully we won't miss you, because we'll see you frequently.
I will stay findable.
Excellent.
We need an alumni chair. Just saying.
Yeah, so like Susan, my second child also did the same, because they're 4 years apart, academically anyways, and we weren't sure, but I'll be, God willing, again doing 8 years. So I agree with what Susan said, as usual, wholeheartedly. I am so appreciative of how much I have learned. When I started doing the scholarship committee in 2018, and went to my first meeting at Helen's house, who was the treasurer at the time, and and we were on paper and pencil, and well, the whole world could not have imagined, but certainly I could not have imagined that when I took over as the chair of that committee the next year, that all of a sudden COVID would hit, and I would have to learn how to do all kinds of things, but mostly I'd go to my son and he would have to teach me how to use Google Sheets and Google this, and how to turn that whole committee into something online. Because all of a sudden I was looking at how to interview these seniors online and Zoom, and just the whole world changed. And then Susan approached me about being on the board because people started quitting because of COVID. And because of PTO, I learned how to make web pages and use all kinds. I really grew in ways that had nothing to do with my profession or my education, and it really speaks to Carnegie, because that's what Carnegie does. It pushes you, it pushes our kids, and I'm glad, because I think it's been a good example for my kids. I see that my son, the same one that taught me how to do all of these things that were in his wheelhouse, he has gone on to university, and now I see him doing things like joining organizations and nonprofits. And even though he's only a sophomore at college, but he's contacting us and saying, oh, hey, this organization is flying me to California, whatever. He's an officer in organizations and in leadership. And he tells me, he tells me, like you, Mom, and so I'm thankful. I'm very, very thankful for the opportunity that Susan gave me by asking me to be an officer to begin with, and from all the friendships that I've made. And yeah, I know I'm not going anywhere, but I'm definitely taking a back seat, and Gary is going to be absolutely fantastic. So thank you.
Oh, that was the sweetest. And I just want to say, you guys have left such big shoes to fill. I am shaking in my boots. And so I'm calling out to everybody that's on the call today. Please sign up to volunteer, because I cannot do all of what they did by myself. You guys have been amazing. Susan, we're still going to be calling on you for all of your Yoda knowledge. And Maria, you have so much more that we're going to get accomplished next year. So I'm really grateful to everything that you guys have done. I also want to say thank you to the whole board. This year has been difficult. It's been difficult for the faculty. It's been difficult for the kids. And I think it's been difficult for the parents as well. And so for everyone that's shown up, every time we've called for a helping hand, or we've called for some donations, or we've called for people to show up at a place, I definitely want to say thank you. And I know we've seen witness of that when things are important, this community shows up. The community engagement group that was formed on overnight during spring break and has been super active. I just want to say that I'm really fortunate that my kids got into Carnegie, but Principal Moss, I want to say I'm fortunate to be a Carnegie parent. So thank you for everything you do, and definitely thank you to the parents that make this community so wonderful to be part of.
I say ditto, and I put in the chat, thank you everyone for simply being a part of tonight's call. And this has been a very, I'll just say, unique year. And you all know what I mean, but you know what's behind that. But, you all showed up, you showed out, and, this is evidence of what it means to be family. So Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okie doke.
That was lovely. Love you guys. Love you guys all.
Well, it sounds like nobody wants to be the person to call it off and say good night. But we're only at 8:07.
That's pretty good.
We did all
That's
right.
true. We're
Thanks
doing
for
okay.
such a wonderful year, honestly, for everyone.
Yes, thank you, and
Yeah,
looking forward
thank you so
to
much.
starting the new year.
Yeah.
We will see you guys in August.
Yes.
Right, and our senior parents, we've got a whole nother 2 weeks to keep on sniffling, so.
Yeah, yeah.
See you all at
Senior
graduation.
awards. We'll see you at senior.
Senior awards.
Mhm, mhm.